Yeah, so today Ozzy passed away. It's kind of a trip because so he was born the same year as my mom and a lot of people that are in this industry, but I was not expecting that one. But actually, like a couple of days, was it yesterday, day before? One of the days, anyway, there was an interview with them, and I was listening to what was it? It was Kelly talking about the Ozempic or whatever, the damn thing. And I'm just looking at Sharon. She's a hot mess, you guys. But you know what? When this happened right now, I was thinking about it, and they had this like thing a while back because I was bringing up the topic, and apparently, I don't know. This is the question to it. Like, I don't know if because I brought up the topic, I got targeted on the Twitter at the time, because they don't like the Christians don't like the topic of assisted, you know what? And there was a incident that happened with somebody else, and I go, well, at some point, you know what I mean, if you're suffering, it was a very controversial topic, and I made some comments, and I said, that, I mean, at some point, you know what I mean, it's like there was just a situation that happened. I don't think what I said was bad. I think it was very humane. And I felt like if somebody did this in my life, I would feel at peace about it in some which way. It's not really something I'd want to walk in on, but I was reflecting on my great grandma because she had a situation where she was so ill and she so desperately wanted to go. She was like 92, 3. And I'm just thinking, like, oh, we put animals down. Like, can't we just do that? Because she is suffering. Like, she was suffering, and I had to sit there with her suffering. And then I had to call in the nurse, and I was like, her pain meds are, not working or something. She's like in so much pain. And and so they come in, and luckily at this time, nobody else in the family was visiting her at this moment. So she was still like coherent, and she knew that I was there, and she knew who I was and everything. And but then she started talking about how she started seeing things in the, room and stuff. And I was like, oh, great. So, and I was really young dealing with this. I think I don't know, maybe like 19, 20. I was so really young. Okay, somewhere in that early portion right there. And so then I spent, hours with her with that. And then they had to go give her medication. And it was just a little too much for me. So I finally leave. And so the next day or two, finally, my other family members go, like my brother and my dad. She didn't even know who the hell they were. At that moment in time, when they came, she didn't know who they were. And I felt lucky at least that I got her at the moment. She was not that, out in that situation. And so it kind of brought up a topic to me that I didn't think about at the time before. And then so it used to be very taboo, the topic. It still is. It still is with certain people. And I think that's why I got targeted on one section because I go, I don't know what the hell, but that's like one of the last things I was bringing up. Like they're mad about it. Like I can't say these things and they're offended and deeply traumatized because this other thing happened. I'm like, but the lady's suffering. I mean, with this other situation, I don't want to get into it. Anyway, so I bring it up, and then they started talking about that topic. And then I was like, yeah, like I don't disagree with it, none of that stuff. So I don't know if that's what happened here, if that was the whole thing, because going back to the topic of her and that other thing and her, not doing well. Sharon's not doing well. Okay, this is not typical Sharon. So I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with her. Well, okay, in the background, if you think about this, I don't know if there was a plan. It's just my thinking about it. Like, I don't know if there was a plan because they were already planning and maybe they went over there and then they were like, okay, we're going to set these times up and do this and that and this and that. And then they went into their last tour. Um, I saw them, like I said, we were talking about the kidnapping thing, bullshit from other people in their camp. So I seen them last in, when did I see them? That was 99? Oh, it was in that portion right there. And then I seen the other guys, there's a whole story with that thing. But anyway, yeah, in 2010, it was a 2010, 20, yeah, somewhere around there, 9 and 10. And strangely enough, I just found some of those items that I got from that whole thing, and I was backstage and whatever, and I was just like, that was like the last time I was even dealing with any of this stuff. So she's talking, and then Sharon's just so like not okay. Like not okay. Like I could just read it, but like I'm not like thinking, oh, they're setting this up and this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen. I don't know if that's what happened or if it was a natural thing, but it sounded like it was set up because they're like, oh, he was all surrounded, this morning, unless something happened the night before and they went to the hospital. Like, I don't know. But they could have actually set this up. And so she was preparing. If it was like that, then that means that they were just preparing and she's just going through like massive, massive stuff. Because as she's talking, it's just not, I was like concerned actually. I'm chronically like, and so I was just thinking, like, no one's paying attention to it. But then Ozzy's like, yeah, but you never needed that. It was just the funniest thing because he's like, he's like, you weren't even overweight, And she's like, she's like mad. Like, she has like some body dysmorphia, as people were talking about. But if you go into that topic, the topic of that, it even makes sense in this situation because what it means, I'd say most of the time, because it's a power and control thing, right? When things are out of control, like that's one area where somebody can control, control. She's a controlling person. As you see, she controls the business. She controls everything. And when things are out of control, like that's something she can control. Something to do with that. And I was sitting there just thinking about it now. So hindsight, because I just saw it a couple days ago, but I knew there was something wrong, but I wasn't going into this deep thing about it. So I was like, yeah, this would be major. Like if you're setting this up or you knew it was going to come, it's major stress, major stress. And so that's my concern because as you go through her life, like there's times you would say, oh God, I would leave, just so many things. And she won't. So like there's this thing with it. So I was like, yeah, maybe people should really make sure she's fine through this like thing right here. It's weird to like imagine this thing, like her as, you know, just her. And then her kids and everything. But yeah, because she's like, the controller of the situation. Everybody's in business, but she can, controls the business and everything and all that. And then now it's just about, I guess, making sure that the people, take care of that legacy, properly and whatnot. Her kids and everybody else. So yeah, that's sad. I wasn't expecting that. Actually, the last 2 days have been weird because then the guy from the Cosby Show died. So I was just kind of like, do I want to talk about that? There's like too many things going on. Those are unexpected. They're just random. Like I don't know if they're just like overlooking like this stuff about it because just when they're talking, it's just weird. Like Sharon's totally not okay, but she's being stubborn and weird. And then I don't know. It's like she just over talked the situation. And then Ozzy's just like, there's nothing wrong with you. I don't know, but oh my God. Um, yeah, he sounded about the most sane in the room at the moment. And I think this was a recent or fairly recent interview, but I just saw it the other night and it was just strange. No, that's not like her. Like she's very no, I don't know. But it could be just from this. Maybe it's from that. But hopefully it's nothing else. But yeah, I'm just saying she would need a lot of support because there's a lot of things in that. So I don't know. Kind of just weird, concerning, sad, strange, awkward, like, but it is bringing up a topic. So I don't know if they're going to come out and say how, like right now it's just, they're going through their thing. But at some point, I'm a little curious because I think people were hinting to it that may have happened. So I was like, yeah, please do. Just because it needs to be not, that's a no shame zone. That's just something like oh, so the problem with that is that the social media targets anybody talking about with the word S, that whole thing. And that is actually part of that thing right there. And did they like they don't want you even talking or promoting doing that. And then I'm like, well, there's a conflict in on the topic because if I'm trying to talk about that, then you're saying that I'm promoting that and therefore I should be banned. So this was some of the controversial things on these topics. So I was like, I don't care if you don't like the topic. I'm not telling people to go run and do that at random. That's not the topic. So, the topic needs to be talked about because you need to talk about where's the line. And when is it, something that you should have somebody go to, get other help with versus you just can't talk about it ever. Yeah, I think that's what happened because I was trying to turn the topic into like that's basically what said person did, and in which case, when it's somebody suffering for decades, I mean, we're talking decades, okay? That something like that happens, and everybody's like, "Oh, we should stop this," and I'm just like, for that. That is awful. It is selfish for me to say that. They should live and suffer and not, whatever they're going to do right there. You're talking about elderly people. We're not talking about, you know what I mean? There's some topics here. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It needs to be able to be openly spoken about so then you can find these definitive lines. Like, when is it crossing a line, regarding health and when it's the mental and physical portions of things. And yeah, we're seeing a lot of strange behaviors from people that have these problems. That's what I'm saying. It's definitely a topic. And since it's a controversial topic, it's going to be one of my favorites to talk about these things. But like I say, I get very, very targeted by these social sites, okay, because they want to go crusty Christian on you, and where you can't, like, you have to have this one thing and you can't say these things. But if that's what's in this story, then hell yeah, we need a major topic on it. They need to discuss this. They need to grow up. They need to do these things. I've had to go and get my pets put to sleep. Like, my God. It's part of life. I think I'm doing the most humane. I feel awful when I couldn't do that with them, and then yet I'm sitting here thinking, oh, we do this to humans, right? It's awful. It's awful to sit there and watch that and know that and it's usually due because I don't have enough finances to go run down and do something like that. But it was like I feel like I'm being a bad parent. So when I was capable with most of them, that I felt so much better. Like I did something peaceful, something right, something humane, and that. So yeah, I don't know. So maybe that's what they did. Because it's very laid out, like the way it's like structured. Like they did their last thing, they did this last thing, and then this is like that, and then it's like it was like pre-planned, like this is gonna happen. So we need to not run over my history over here either. So because nobody was talking in the music industry about sexual assaults, mostly by powerful men. I was speaking out in 2001 against my will. Like it wasn't a choice. It was like forcefully into the public because of their team. Because of their team, where they're bringing Johnny Depp up in here. You know who doesn't like Johnny Depp? Somebody else. Trump, because Johnny Depp wanted him to die. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. So Me Too started in 2006 from Charana Burke, right? So she had a very specific thing, I think, within her community, and to empower women and build a community of support. So what was my? I just want to talk about my purpose, and it was before Me Too, and what the building blocks were to even let something like that to even people listen, okay? So nobody was speaking out in the industry. And so I got thrusted out in the industry and I had like millions of hits, believe it or not, from a bunch of wackos that I've never met. They were must be fans and maybe media, maybe government and their bullshit and everybody else. So I come out and I start going at this team because they in the background were saying that I should totally expect them to go at kids. Okay. This was a lawyer within the group of their people. And they were promising me a number of things. And then I went to tell the lawyer, thinking the lawyer will go to their boss, the celebrity, the main celebrity, and that celebrity will deal with the employee and they will probably he'll probably get arrested or something like that, right? Like I was trying to keep it in house, like somebody go to their camp, go to their management, and then that. No, we could not do that because the lawyer was with the other group of people with the what the hell's his name? He's another child predator in the music industry that went after the other girls for the runaways or something. Okay, so that was those people. Okay, so that guy was praying. So they met that guy at this boss's party, something like that, right? So this camp of people are into kids, like all of them. Okay, so we're finding this out, and so all of them were preying on all of us when we were minors. And those women are a lot older than me, so they already knew about it, and but they didn't let anybody know. And so they were dealing with this group of guys. So this lawyer is connected to those people from the 1970s, right? Like way back. And then they were all going at children. These people, everybody, because even the band that they were managing, I guess, was like they were minors, I think, at the time. Um, and then they all got harmed. Like, but when you talk to them, there's a couple that say they were, right? They admit it. But then these other two, these other two horrible people, I was like, I shouldn't say horrible people, but they're a hot mess. So one of them, um, thinks it's totally fine. Like she's not a victim. She don't think anything's wrong with it. Yada yada yada. Okay, we have her. Then the other one's in just full blown denial, and I think she's just the worst because just the conduct in here is so bad. And then they were just denying they ever even watched this or anything happened like that. Okay, so then what happens is, and I may have ran across the guy, the perpetrator that they were talking in that story. I was talking about that in the early portion, but I can't remember. Like there was a thing about it in the early portion, but I didn't have to work with him. I don't know him personally. So anyway, he passes away. Then these guys were all part of that group of people. So they don't see anything wrong with going after girls, like minors. No. So, but I didn't know this. So I'm thinking if I go tell this lawyer, because he's a lawyer, that he will do something professional and get them to take care of the situation. Because I had no other option, because there's nobody in the camp that will do anything. So I do that. He's like, oh, you know what that's all about. Anyway, so blah, 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 blah. Yeah, totally. It was totally bad. I said I sent a letter to some lady that was trashing the hell out of them. And I go, oh, she might know something I don't know. Maybe she has some information that I should get because I've never heard anybody trash them besides, I mean, it's me getting upset about this one person. So I was like, I've never heard anybody else. So what do you know? So I talked to her and she's, trying to manipulate, she manipulated me here. So she's like, yeah, what happened? And I go, oh, okay. So I don't deal with fans, right? I had never dealt with the fans in this camp of people, which I never should have to begin with. But so I'm talking to the fans. Now I'm going backwards. I'm talking to the public. It's not a smart move. So I'm talking to this public. I'm telling her, and she's telling me she runs a rock show in New York. And that some stuff, like she's making herself sound more important than she is, which I didn't really buy into her importance. She just sounded like some type of wannabe, like something, something. But she was saying something about them, and I was trying to figure out like what she was saying or why she's saying it. And then I go, yeah, okay, so this situation happened, and I'm trying to figure out if there's any, like, I don't know. I saw her so, a whole bunch of stuff, and I think one of them was trying to see if there was any other victims out here. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Let me go find out some stuff. So I'm thinking she's going to go and start asking, I don't know, some other people like around, like maybe other fans or some other business people to see if there was any other information. And instead, what she did, which was the end of my career, she forwarded my letter straight to my perpetrator. And to this day, the evil of that is like, it just blows my mind because this person knows I'm a phone call away. I'm literally down the street from the dude. I'm a phone call away. I could talk to that guy any day of the week. And she forwards my private information to my perpetrator. And so what happens is they're worth millions of dollars, okay? This team over here, million. They got brand deal, they got every, you know what I mean? You just F the wrong way. Even though I didn't feel they were very relevant at this moment. They weren't until Johnny Depp came into the picture, but they have this thing going on. So she forwards it to them. So now he's alerted, which is stupid because now I can't, set him up to prove that he did this. Like if I go to the cops and we want to get him busted, I can go and call him and start bringing up the topic and he's going to start admitting things, right? She destroyed that for me on purpose, I do believe. And so she goes to him. He freaks out. He's freaking out that I'm even telling another party what he did. He thought he was safe. Like he felt in a safe place, but he's freaking out. Well, first of all, he's already pissed off because I was dating one of the band members at the time. He's freaking out. He's freaking out. Now he's got to come up with something because he could get arrested, right? So in his mind, this is his mind, okay? So he's like, I have to think of something. I got to make up something. I got to do something really quick overnight. He didn't even wait to run it through a lawyer, which is crazy. The guy's smart. Like, the dude was smart. He's not a stupid guy. So I was kind of like, She wanted his job. At the end of the day, the MO for this lady was she wanted his job and she would have loved for him to get fired. And but what happened was he responds and she takes the response as he's innocent, nothing happened, and that's the end of the story. And that's not exactly what he said, actually. That's not what he said. It was crazy. He admits it, but starts to play innocent, like he's ignorant. He admits it. He is playing ignorant. She took that as some type of thing that he was innocent and he said he didn't do it and that's the end of it. That's not what it said. That's not what that letter said at all. So he forwards this letter to her. We don't know her. He forwards this letter to her and she's a big mouth and she's on it. She's, local TV and crap in New York and doing this crap. And I'm freaked out. I'm like, I can't even believe this just happened. Like I wake up to this like weird response from from him directly. And now I've known them for a decade, for 10 years, and I'm reading this and I'm like, what? Yeah, it was really bizarre. It was really bizarre. So I was reading it. So she did that and she fled the scene. She basically fled the scene and claimed that I told her to do that. Why would I do that? Why would I need a third party to email him my personal email through her when I have a direct line to the dude for 10 years? We could prove that. I have a direct line to the lawyer, to his office, and I can get around his personal assistant. That's how close we were.
Like, I know these people. And this woman go do that because she's a wannabe. We got the public, these wannabe people. That's what happened. Because they're people that shouldn't be up in this business. But that's kind of what happened. And again, it's my mistake because I'm desperate. I'm desperate. I need somebody to reach out to. Again, I said I tried to do the Sharon thing. I tried to do some other team thing. I tried to do a million. Somebody in charge somewhere in a different team, because this team right here is a nightmare. And I can't get out of the bubble. There's like a bubble, like universe that I cannot reach out of. So they don't understand this. So I was like, oh my God. So, yeah, so they do this crap. So they start spinning me as this bad person. I go, yeah, the Johnny Depp team actually has some of the same people because they were in tie with the same camp, okay, the same camp. And so one of their earliest playgrounds was on me. So I know every step and some of the people that were involved. That's why I was like, yeah, that thing is a hot mess. And yeah, I'm seeing what they're doing to other women. And yes, 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 yes. But I won. Who stayed living? I was like, who stayed living? I did not do anything to myself. I won the battle. It's not a good win. Like the battle, we're all injured, okay? But I won. So I was like, okay, I won the battle between this machine that they have going on right here. The machine is a bunch of rich men. The machine is a bunch of fans as well. So they utilize the public to do their evil. And it's a, when you think about it, it's a smarter way to do it, because then they're like, we didn't do nothing. Yeah. So what they do is they fling out. They had one guy at this time before they got really crafty here with like the Amber thing and all that. Okay, so they flung out this one guy, and he's out here making up shit, like just randomly. I had never met this guy in my life. And he starts taking my personal information and threw it online. I go, did you just dox my ass? Who the hell are you? And he's out here like, and he admits it. He's like, I've been bullying her. And yeah, this is their team. This is absolutely their team. He admits it. So I copy it. I have all the copies of this. So this is how they originally operated before the Amber Heard shit. So I was like, this is crazy. So he's out here just spinning stories. He's taking like a truth. I dated this one guy. I did. I dated a band member. And then he goes like this. He's like, but he never called you back. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know why the hell he didn't call me back, because you guys set me up on the date to get the perpetrator to get in a fight with them or something. I don't know. Some crap happened here. So then, like, how does he have this information, right? Like, he's throwing it in the public. I'm just like, what is this shit? So he's like going on like this, going on like this. And he's just being like a troll. It's almost like a troll, but he's spinning it out there. So then the fans are reading it and they follow along, right? It's kind of like this thing, like they're reading it and they're like, yeah, the cool thing to do is to pick on her. So let's just start doing this crap. These dudes. So I'm fighting all these dudes. So I start doing all these things and fighting the shit out of them and slaughtering them in cartoons and doing all this crazy crap, right? So I had to fight them in the way that they fight me, and it worked. And so I was like, yeah, that thing is crazy. But then they started getting filthy. They started getting a little filthy. Okay, so here's what they started doing. So then, okay, as I'm winning, because I'm chronically winning, I'm stepping ahead of the story now, because they started spinning out stuff. So I was like, I can't let them spin it. Here they go. So I'm going to actually just throw out all the information that, even all the bad, like anything that they want to try to spin, I'm going to actually put the truth out, and then like they can't manipulate it. They're going to try to manipulate it, but I'm not going to let them do it. So I go, and then I do this thing, right? Like there is a strategy with this. So I was like, I'm learning it, because they're trying to attack me. These are powerful men. That guy's not powerful, but the other people are. So then what they do is they're like, okay, she's winning. We got to take her down. Okay, so we can't do it legally because we're a bunch of criminals. Okay, so what they started doing is, so what I did, they started trying to mute me on their forums, right? So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna create a forum and let it be free speech and let them all come in, right? And let them. I'm not gonna block them or anything. I'll let all their team and everybody come in. Okay, so I let them all come in. I lured them in. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I let them all come in. They all came in. So they're all a bunch of liars. So they all know me. So now they got caught, right? So now they're hanging out with me. Uh huh. Yeah, yeah. And then, so I'm reeling them in because they're stupid too. Okay, so then I go on this other website and I put on the website. Now they shouldn't have been able to touch my website, but they did. So I did the website and I posted their letter. So what they said, because I need to be able to defend myself because the media was not helping me. The media didn't post what they said, and this was a legitimate direct letter from their team. So I posted what they said, okay? And it was awful, okay? It wasn't even nice about me. They just painted some stupid shit in there. So I posted what they said, okay? So I go, here's what they said. So I believe in free speech. You have the right to say what you want to say. But so do I. So I post the letter and then I started responding to the letter. So I started responding back to the comments that were made. Now, here's the problem. Nothing I did was illegal. Their conduct is illegal, but nothing I did was illegal, okay? They have no legal ground to stop this conduct, right? They have no legal ground to go and do anything. They can't sue me because there's no lie in the story. I could sue them, okay? It's actually in my ball in my court. So I throw it up and they figured out that they could just go to the website, the owners of the website, like who was it at the time? I think it was like um, I forgot the name of the website. Anyway, it was not AOL, but there was another, server. So they went to them and told them to just remove the site for no reason. Like there's no legitimate reason to remove the site. They told them to remove the site. That's it, illegally. There was nothing illegal on the site. Nothing. That is a legitimate legal letter that should have went to FBI actually, into to the child unit. Something about that. But anyway, so I put it up, and the reason why they did that, and I'll tell you why they did that. These guys are so bad. Legally, any lawyer would know why they did that. If you make comments without it running through a lawyer, they incriminated themselves in the case. They basically admitted their guilt, but they didn't run it through the celebrity's lawyer, which they may actually have a different lawyer than the one that I was speaking with, like I don't think it's this. I don't think it's the lawyer that I was speaking with. I think they may actually have another lawyer for their business side of things for this other thing. But they didn't, like, I don't think he told his boss. Like I think it was something where he didn't tell his boss, he didn't run it through the lawyer, and he made comments without it going through a legal avenue. So when I posted it in public, the lawyers are flipping out. They have to be, because he's admitting to luring a child and doing something, and then it proved that there was a music business thing that we were doing. So it's not a fan. There's no fan, nothing in it. It's not, oh, I'm a groupie and I'm trying to, any of this. It proves that we had a long relationship and it's a music industry thing and we are dealing with business, and he went after a child. So that's how he responded. But he was like doing a denial of it, like going, I had no idea this portion, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, doing this thing. He didn't run it through. There's no way in hell. So some lawyer, I'm assuming, from the evil other side over there, before they connected those idiots over there. Mind you, this is at the earliest part of the internet. So they're learning how to maneuver information and how to cover their asses online. Okay, so they can't control me. They're having a problem. So I'm trying to do everything possible to get around all this garbage. Okay, and there's a lot of garbage going on, and they're doing a lot of things and making up stuff. So I've never been sued, by the way, by their team because we'll end up just pulling in all the lawyers and then they're going to get in trouble too. So it's all good. Okay, so you have to have this playing card because Amber didn't have shit. Okay, let's just put it this way. I don't know if she thought like Eline's going to help her in her life, but he's a jerk. He didn't do anything in this. She doesn't have the same game pieces that I do. And just call it luck because outside this, it's frightening. It's just frightening. There wasn't anything. It's like I befriended like their lawyer guy. The lawyer guy actually came after me. It's not me seeking out the lawyer. The lawyer preyed on me. The lawyer's the one that was told about that. The lawyer's the one that didn't do anything about that. So, um, when there's questions in the case, the people that get pulled in are the people that were all like around me, right? The other celebrities, the guy I dated, the other musicians, the anybody that was present at the time that they would get pulled in. They don't want that. I wouldn't want that because those people are guilty as shit. So, okay, that's why that's going on. So, for them right now, they're playing the game of we're just trying to remove her any which way we can. But we're pretending like we're not paying attention. Okay, so this is their stance right now. But they did successfully remove me during the Depp case. Just letting you guys know. So I came out after that and let you guys know. Yes, somebody, yeah, that was absolutely insane, and there was no grounds to do it, and it should have never happened. But they were doing that because I was talking about their strategy and their strategy. I'm dead serious. Their strategy is pretty foul, dude. And you can't let them spin it like that because the minute it goes out of control, it's hard to, reel it back in. So what they're doing is like by the advice of their lawyer. Now, luckily, I didn't have a lawyer at the time because the lawyer would probably shut me up, and then I wouldn't have won. Like it would have been they would have spun it out this way. The lawyer has to be smart to be able to get on top of them with that, and then I can't say what I need to say. And when you're fighting the truth, the thing that wins and kings everything is the truth. And so I need to make sure that I take control of that. So that was crazy. So in the middle of this, the perpetrator that was doing all this stuff and being a part of it is no longer alive. Okay, so he couldn't deal with life. Okay, so he takes an exit. But there's still guilty people in this. They think like it's over or something. I'm like, no, you're kidding. Because the boss here is the one that's guilty at the end of the day because he's the one that hired him and did not protect me from his employee. So there's a lot to do with this. Okay, so he had no issue with it, allegedly. Mostly after the fact, when people hear about it. Their whole thing was to cover and not to correct. And he out here trying to pretend like he's a good guy. I go, no, that guy's evil, evil, evil sin. Now, at the initial part, I didn't get any physical threats. Nobody was threatening to beat me up from this camp or anything. I did have some support because some people did read the letter. And some people were like, yeah. And one of the band members, the original band member, said, oh, I'm not surprised by any of that. And he goes like this. Don't tell anybody I talked to you because I still have to work with them. That's what he said. So just letting you guys know, we have to cover our own butts and the people that had awareness of this to the new people that never heard the story. because the new people that never heard the story, I started getting physical threats. It's crazy. And to where they think that the story's made up. Well, that wasn't what we were fighting originally. Everybody knew that we had a relationship, okay? A business relationship. So I'm not fighting, oh, I'm some crazy fan. I mean, this is just newer stuff, okay? This is a hurdle that it's the reversal of the story. It's like originally I didn't even need to deal with that because everybody saw the original letter. So they saw the response. So when you see the response, then the public has to stew on the comments made. So the comments are degrading me as an artist. They're not degrading me as a fan, that I want backstage passes or anything like that. It's degrading me as a human and in the music industry and where we're going to go in the industry, and then a cover up of him trying to say, well, I didn't know you were a kid, like this bullshit. So there's no denial in the response, so therefore then government should have arrested these people because it's showing that they got a child and committed a fraud because they claimed it was for this, but yet at the end of the day, when you read the end of it, like none of this transpired. And why did it not transpire? And why did they get a child, right? So we were trying to fight this thing going on. Now LAPD's in the mix, trying to stink the room up. Okay, this is really crazy. So the rogue, like I don't know what's going on. These gang member law enforcement are in the background doing all this crazy stuff, right? So they're covering up, doing this, doing that, doing this, and then helping them out. Okay, this is going on. But it was going on even before that happened, like when I was hanging out with them. And we need to figure out like why these two things are going on at the same time. Now, we didn't have any problems with them during the 10-year span. Like, we weren't in a battle or something, and then the cops are over here doing this. The cops were literally doing that. Like, they had knowledge that I was hanging out with them. And then after when I leave, they try to get money from me. Like, there was a weird thing about it. And so I was like, yeah, I don't know what the hell that is. And I don't think the team dictated that. No. So when I told the team, though, they go, yeah, well, you should have waited around with us because we could have warded that off. Well, now they believe the team, the thing that's shady, their team believes that they could ward off organized crime. And I'm a daughter, the law enforcement thing. I go, I can't ward it off. I can't ward it off. And they're taking advantage of me and they know that. So I can't ward it off. So why would a celebrity camp be able to ward off this organized crime thing going on with this law enforcement thing? That's what they said. They're like, if you waited, this would have never happened. That's what they told me. And I'm like, that's a little bizarre. And we don't know the answers to why this is going on yet. This other portion, which they're just now talking about. And this is like 2 decades later. But I go, yeah, when I was with these people, these guys were trailing me somehow. And we don't know why. We have some suspicion as to why, because we know they're criminals, and that's pretty much the down low of that thing. So I was like, yeah, that is crazy. So then it's helping them, right? It's helping the celebrity camp. It's helping them get away with getting children. And then I told the media, I go, you need to run the damn story. I don't know what the hell. So the first thing they do, they hate Trump so much, right? Like, there's a lot to say about Trump. But I'm thinking they're going to go they should ask the perpetrator, like, some other things. But they ignore the fact that they did this. They won't even run a Me Too story about their camp, right? They won't even do it. There's some blockage, okay? There's a protector on these people. And we can't figure out why. Like, there's some deeper story in this, and we're getting some of it, but let me go through this. So, this is like the most non relevant camp out here right now. And it's like, how are they this protected over anybody else. Maryland's not protected. Like he just got totally blasted. Oh, so they started like having these fans. This is weird. So some fans started jumping in, acting like they know something. And they try to reach out to their management and ask them, do they know who I am? And their management said, yeah, we know who she is. And I'm like, yeah, so they're being honest. They can't say anything else, but yeah, they know who I am. It doesn't tell them anything. It doesn't tell the fans anything. It's saying they know who I am. If they lied and said they didn't, then there could be a problem, right? I can go after them saying this thing. But them saying that they know who I am could mean anything. Like they know, they could go, oh, she's a crazy person and we know who she is, right? They could mean that. But that's not the truth of it. So it's like they're, yeah, we know who she is. But why are they going to the management? These people are inserting themselves into criminal conduct that has nothing to do with the fans at all. Nothing. They don't know me. They don't know them. Nothing. And they're going to their camp and asking them and harassing them about that thing. So then what they did is they go ask them and they go in a private group and about a dozen of them got together and they started plotting to beat me up. And I don't know these people at all. Like it's just criminal actions. And they send me a threat and they take a screenshot of their conversation to try to intimidate me. And I'm just like, I'm going to run you over. You come to my house, you're going to be you're going to be a little spot in the street. So they sent me a thing and they used Google. And I was like, well, why isn't law enforcement going after that? That's a physical threat and violence. And I don't know them. And I'm just like, that's crazy stuff. I mean, that's just, but their team enables it. So another party in this is a male, and he started sending me a thing, call me the B word and private evil messages on YouTube. Next thing you know, he's interviewing the boss, the celebrity, and they're off talking together. And I go, see, and I go, do you want to hide that from FBI? Because I'm taking photos and everything of all this conduct. I've never done anything like that, you guys. I've never sent threatening letters to any of those people. I have chronically allowed them to come into my forum. I would rather do that because then I could prove that they do know me. Because why would they come there, right? If I'm a crazy person, like, why would they just come into my forum? So they came into my forum and they started talking with me, and then yeah, they know that I knew them for many years. Then they started using Andy Dick's information. I don't know why they were using Andy Dick's information, but they were using whoever was doing his website. So they're all connected, the teams. And that's what I'm saying. You guys don't understand this crap. It's like the same person is a middle person that's connected to Andy Dick's team. And Andy Dick is a psychotic. Okay, so Andy Dick was hanging out with Marilyn Manson right here. So I had just worked on news radio, and then I don't know these connections. Like, I legit don't. And I'm oblivious and I'm doing all this stuff. How do I know they don't tell Andy Dick to watch me? Who the hell knows? You know what I mean? So anyway, they're connected to that. And then I started going to the comedy school, and then there's Andy Dick again. And then they made a special room for Andy Dick, and I had to run across him, I don't know, like twice maybe. But this other guy was taking personal photos of Andy Dick, and then he's the one that was thrusting out personal information of mine in public. And I'm like, I don't know this guy at all. And I don't know Andy Dick other than, these casual, situations where, I mean, or professional situations, but I've never talked to him. And then they start bringing in other people. Again, they just start bringing in other men. And I'm a single girl, right? I'm a single woman at this time. I'm like in my, late 20s, 30, early 30s at the moment. And all these adult men were bullying me to hell. And I'm like, this is crazy stuff, but I'm gonna win. I was like, I'm looking at it as a sport, like a game now. It's like, and what did they do here? There's so many different things that they did here. it's just me dodging it, like just doing things, trying to remove me, trying to do this, sending their fans after me and doing crazy stuff. And then now spinning a story. Oh yeah, the recent one where they're like had that girl come up and she's like, I was at the show, blah blah blah, just making up stuff. I don't know. She may have not made it up and she thought she went to the show that I did and it's not the same show, but somebody just randomly popped up out of year. Like this story's been going on for 20 some odd years and this woman just pop up, you know? And I'm like, my date will tell you there was no other person right there, so I don't know what the hell with that. Um, then oh yeah, so the Depp case came up, and I was saying, I laid out the plots, the maneuvers, and the spinning, and their whole shebangy, right? I go, you need to be careful because they will. I broke it down how they do it. Um, And then so instead of like, trashing on Depp or something like that, what I was doing was things that were in the public, right? It isn't like I'm trying to like slander him or, like anything like that, because I don't know him personally. But I know their team. I know the people that are operating in the background. So I'm like, okay, I don't know much about him, but let me go read about him because maybe Amber's this horrible person, right? I actually don't know, but let me check because it's not going to go good because I know those people. So let me go look over here. But also in the mix, maybe CAA. Now I don't. I would almost think that I have battled them, and we just don't know who these people are in the background, but. Some of these PR people are atrocious. So there's some additionals in our stuff. So it's not just, oh, this team. Now it's a whole bunch of other people's PR people and, that whole thing. So I go and I look and I'm reading all this stuff and I start to learn about them, right? And it was kind of interesting. So I was like, yeah, he's a straight up socio. Like he dropped out of school. He's like the typical, I'm a troublemaker. I got problems. And then he was making some comments and this is before, anybody's looking at him in that way. So I was like, yeah, man, that's a hot mess, dude. Mm. So I brought up the stories, because they're relevant. They're absolutely relevant. So I was like, yeah, he said it. They're his words. So it isn't me putting an opinion to it. I was like, here it is. So I started putting it up. Their team had to find a way to remove me. It's the craziest thing. But I'm being honest with you guys. Yeah, so I was bringing up real stories, like not a personal, not any like made up thing, like nothing like that. They were actual stories that Johnny Depp did in the public when he didn't give a shit. And he was beating up some guy, and he's like, yeah, some gay guy was hitting on me, and I beat the shit out of him at a bar. And yeah, he's going on this thing, and I was like, oh my God. And he had multiple suits going on. Like somebody else was going after him for beating them up, and then he was abusive towards somebody else, and then Winona's a minor technically at this point. Like there was all these stories, right? And there was a lot in it, so I started bringing them all up. That's all I did, bringing them all up because that was in the media. It was already in the media. It was already in the media. So their team was like, no, no, no. I was like, no. And all of a sudden, one day, I'm posting, I go, does anybody have a video of an incident with me? Nothing to do with his thing. With me at this thing, because it's related to that thing, though, because the camp that they're dealing with, it's like they have a business tie. So they have their camp, their PR people, their team, and then he has his team, and then if he's with the CA, whoever he was with at that time, there's those people too. So now there's this like whole thing going on. So I was like, yeah, does anybody have a video of the night at this place? Blah 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 blah. That's all I posted. That's it. I was like, because I thought about it, and I was like, oh, somebody might have a video that can prove my point about something that occurred in a public place. I never thought to ask for it. I never thought about it. And so this one night I thought about it. So I post that up. The next thing you know, they block me out of my account. And I'm like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, so we know the evildoers are also the website owners of this thing, because if it was an accident, right? Like somebody falsify, you know what I mean? Like that thing. Well, I tried to reach out to them and they ignored that. And then they just removed my whole thing. They were locking me out saying, enter your phone number. And I'm like, I don't even know what type of crap this is, but I didn't do anything wrong. I asked the public for a video. I was like, honest to God. So I went to the media and I told the media, and I go, I honest to God, I swear to God, you guys, this is all I asked. That's all I did. And it's during the Depp divorce thing. It's before the secondary thing. And I go, this is absolutely nuts. So now we have a third case that came into the media where they pointed this out. And I said, yes, that's absolutely true. And then, but the public goes like this. Oh no, we don't believe it. We don't care what they say about that. We already seen her, blah, blah, blah. I go, no, you guys literally got manipulated. You do not know the craft. There's a craft to this manipulation. It's very crafty, and you have to be very on top of it, because for that to happen, that's horrifying. It was horrifying to watch, but I knew they were capable of doing it. Um, so because I know that, I know there's a lot more in the thing here. So it's just the unfortunate truth about it. And I told people long before that even happened. It's almost like they didn't want to believe that was even happening. I go, no, they were saying it. And then in fact, we could show that they were saying that they were bullying me. They actually admitted it, but they're like mocking it. Like they're mocking me, but they're saying it. So yeah, I have a screenshot of that. And I go, that is the craziest thing. They said, you know what? We know you're trying to have a career, and I must feel really bad about myself to be trying to take you down, and I must be jealous. Some bullshit, right? They were trying to make it seem like I should pity them, and then, but then, like, it comes off as a mockery as well. It's really strange. It's demented. So then I was asking, did the perpetrator use the account under the guy's name? Because that reads like my perpetrator. It doesn't read as this other person. Well, come to find out, after all this went on, right during the Depp case, actually, I go do some research. And what I found was the same person that was doing the spinning in in the public. I shouldn't say in the media, because the media didn't cover it. It was on these public forums and arenas before this ever became a big thing. They didn't have social media like they did at the time, so we didn't have an Amber moment here. So it was kind of, but again, I won. But anyway, so they go. I look into it, and I find out that the dude that was working or dealing with Andy Dick started using my perpetrator's address. And I was looking at that and I was trying to figure out why. And the dude is the same age as me. And my perpetrator is way older. And I'm like, why is this dude doing this? And I don't know who he is. And he's using his address now. And we questioned the accounts that were being used online because they were reading like it was the perpetrator. So everybody thought it was, and they thought that he was just making up he had a secondary name. But this other person is a real person. But they were using the same address. And so at the same time, that could mean that they were living together. We don't know. I'm not really sure. Because if they were living together, then they can just use the account together. So that did happen. That's the unfortunate thing. So this is some of the back work of the manipulation in the public. So you guys don't know what they're doing. It sounds very non-professional, but this non-professional action here worked pretty well in their favor at some times. But this is how their team was operating because that person is that's a personal assistant that is the employee of the celebrity. So the employee of the celebrity, I guess, hired on or got this other guy to pull on in to start feeding him information, right? So he's giving him all my personal information that he knew for 10 years. And he's having this secondary person flinging it into the public. And I go, you know how evil that is? It's so gross because I don't know that guy. And why does he have my personal information? That's just creepy. But my perpetrator did this. So this is how the celebrity camp is operating. And yeah, they go to whatever works, right? Like whatever. One of the best things that they were learning to do was use the comment section. They had utilized using, like if you go to YouTube, using the comment section, just as simple as that. That's their team. So their team will go in there and they'll post like, wow, what a crazy woman. She sounds like she's drunk and that's them. So they'll put something that it sounds like this is a great thing to start picking on them on and start trashing them because you know they hate women so much. Okay, so that's their team. So they'll light a fire. We'll just call those lighting a fire moment. So they will post in the comments section. So it seems like it's just the general public. It's not. And today, what's crazy, they have AI. They have these automated bots. It makes me so mad. Like, they started multiple pounding me with these weird bot things or something. They were like pre pre-typed out messages, like trashing me. It was so crazy. I was like, this is so fake. This is not the public. This is their teams are programming and sending out on these things. And it's awful. It's mean. It's so evil. And if I wasn't a strong person, I might jump off a cliff. That was terrible. That's not nice. But they're terrible like that, okay? So just I'm aware of it. I'm aware of the plots. I'm aware of how they do things. And they change it up. So I'm always kind of like trying to pay attention to what they're doing now. So I just have to battle them. I said, there'll be these moments where they knock me down, and then I have to come back up again, and then I fight them. I go, eventually one day they're going to be paying for the bullshit that they did, and they'll be exposed. Someday they're going to be exposed, like completely. People think it's fake right now and that these lawsuits are fake and them bringing that up. I go, no, that's absolutely accurate. I don't know about their suit against so and so, but what they were saying in the targeting attacks. No, that's very, very, very accurate. Very accurate. And they told me how they were doing it, like as they're doing it originally. So I was like, yeah, that is I don't know, it was like a sport. Like they get off on it. Like it's a sport. Let's take her down. Okay, let's start doing all these things and saying all these things. I think it's funny to put this out there. We're gonna make it sound like she does the things to random guys. That's what they said. They tried to like slander me and then say I touched like they said some crap, dude. And I'm still doxxed. Like they still have it online from 20 years ago. And I go, yeah, I guess I could just pull it up and sue him. You know what I mean? I should go after, Matt, the guy that he's running around saying. So I was like, do you know me? I mean, the dude never met me. I'm not like a famous person, so like they don't know me. Like I'm not in a movie like that they, sit there and watch and I'm famous and the media's talking to me and I'm saying these things. He legit doesn't know me and he's taking my private information and putting it online. And he did it under the celebrity camp because he used their address so we could prove that it was their team. It wasn't, oh, a random guy that decided to do it for their team. No, it was the guy that used their address and that. But that wasn't discovered until just the last couple of years. I just found out that he used their address. Oh man, they're nasty. They're a bunch of liars. And then there's all these other guys, they're like Democrat celebrity guys who are all in the same camp with this group of people. And they're frauds. Like they're big time fake and frauds. They come out all proper and stuff, and then all of a sudden they do evil things for the people in this camp. And I've been watching it, and I go, that you guys are going to be exposed, like every single one of you. And I was like, I don't, it's just disgusting because I had like totally supported like a bunch of them, and then like one day they do something evil and somebody got in trouble with kids stuff, right? And they think it's funny to make a joke about it in some way or, let this person have a platform. And they were just kind of sharing like, these are our pals. Like they're doing this thing. And I'm like, well, then eventually somebody's going to confront you on all that and like why this wasn't a problem. Besides me, I've been confronting it, but they all have a brotherhood thing, which is what, normally people would call a gang, Gang, and they protect their house. So all these guys are millionaires. One of them is a billionaire. Um, and, so I'm battling that even. And they're trying to act like they're on the good side. And it's some dude that's going to say he's for women and he's trashing the hell out of me. Yeah, it's the arrogance of these dudes right here. And they did me wrong, and I was getting harmed while they were sitting there promoting my perpetrator in their bullshit. And that dude's making $1 billion. That dude pisses me off to no end right now because all the people that are in the story are people that he gave a platform to, are the people that are protecting it, are the people that are ignoring that I'm in the background and I got touched by that dude. And so they're playing this game like, I don't know nothing about no Diddy touching people or any of this, right? But you see, I know the conduct over here with these other people. They want you to believe, but I'm going to tell you, if you have no problem with what happened to me, you certainly wouldn't sit there and have an issue with anything that Diddy did. So, you could say that kind of bullshit for somebody else. Like, but that's what they want to pass off, but the general public doesn't know. Like my personal old past friends from back home, they know the truth. So I can't imagine what they're thinking in their mind. Like, I don't know how they feel about me because I don't talk to them anymore. Time has gone on and, everybody's done their own thing. But somewhere in their mind, they have to be like, what the hell? Because they know the truth. They know we know them. They met them and they see what's happening. And I still feel like they don't want to be any part of this because it's so bad. Because they know the truth. And the truth is that we do know them. And they do know that they got me as a kid. And so in that, I would honestly think that people, they just don't want to be a part of that. My friends were sad that I left very early. They didn't want me to leave home. They didn't want me to leave my hometown. And they knew I was coming here for them. And I graduated very early, very, very early. And we had a career path in the industry. And my future was very, very bright. It was very bright, very promising. I was ahead of everybody. And they kept trying to push me back. Like my school was trying to push me back. And they were destroying opportunity after opportunity, and I had another opportunity with Sacramento State College, with my art stuff, and somebody was jealous. That's it. Somebody's jealous. Somebody wants to do something to destroy those opportunities, and I have to battle these people. And now they're trying to paint me as the demon. I love it. It's just, it's manipulation. It's so filthy. And yeah. So anyway, their team, the guy liked me a lot. The perpetrator, like the word like is subjective, but he saw me as very intelligent. He wasn't a stupid guy. Like, this is the truth of the story, as like he's not a stupid guy, and I'm not a stupid kid. And they felt that I was a lot more mature than, a typical kid, 16, 17 at that age. And they, I don't know, something weird with that dude. And and then that's the groomings right there. It's just the thing with that. So the perception at that time was, if I'm out of school, I'm old enough. That's disgusting. But I was in college at 15, so I guess that would mean, in their mind, I'm old enough because I'm capable of college. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I was very good in that class right there. Um, but that's kind of what happened. And they knew they were not up against some dumb person. That's an additional thing. So I'm not a stupid person, and they were fighting wit, WIT. We're fighting wit because they're like, how do we get to this girl? We can't sit there and say she's just some girl that wanted to meet so and so backstage and she's just a groupie. Like, they didn't run with that story. It's ridiculous that anybody would even try to go there today. Their own team did not even run with that bullshit. Um, they Yeah, like, what were they trying to say here? They were basically, there was no conclusion. They basically were expressing, the expression of what their team said was, I don't give a shit what you do. I don't think you're gonna amount to a goddamn thing. This is where it kind of went, right? So it doesn't lead you, like, what the hell happened here, right? Other than you hear, like, oh, it's somebody they were dealing with on a personal level, musically. And then, oh, I used to like her because I tried to get on her, but I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't know you were a minor. Like, that's what he's trying to do. Okay, so this is where it went. And I shouldn't laugh. It's just insane that people are reading this and read that as an innocent thing. And that's where it ended, because they're like, you need to look at my boss, like he's like the owner of Sony or whatever, the manager is the CEO. That bullshit. Okay, so he starts going on like that, and it doesn't it doesn't lead you where you think it should lead you. It's not like you're a fan and you need to get over it and you don't want to meet, like, nothing like that. Like, it's not there. It's just, we're going to do these things and blackball you, basically. And like, there's an open blackballing going on because they're like, if anything ever happens or you ever have this happen to you, I'm going to be kicking myself. Well, how are you going to make this happen? Because it would mean that Sony is not going to do XYZ, or whatever record label was going to do XYZ at this moment. And then therefore you can hinder my career by making sure that nobody offers me those opportunities because you're pissed off that you just got caught protecting me as a kid. That's it. That's where it was, and that's what it admitted, and it just stayed like that. So how does it become a hate fest on me when this was their team admitting this? That's what I'm saying. I go, it's the nuttiest thing, but The way they can get away with it was removing that letter. Removing the letter offline made it where they knew that new people coming in, they're like, what? Who's this crazy person? Why is she saying these things? And then he goes and they get a woman to go work with them. I go, you know what? I'm not going to be that pawn. You could be that pawn. You're a pawn. I don't care how you get your money. I think you're filthy. I think the whole thing of them, how they set that up and used our gender to try to cover up the bullshit that they did here. And they did that. And yeah, that's their team. So their team is very crafty. So then they pulled in Johnny Depp. Okay, so Johnny Depp was not in the picture. So then their team crafts this thing up. Somehow, I don't know how this came about. No, can't tell you guys. Now there's a relevancy again. They didn't have any they were losing thousands and thousands of dollars here. They were not getting they did not sell out the arenas. They were only selling like 20K stuff and trying to throw out to me that I need to sell 10K. And I'm like, I do? Why would I need to sell 10K? I'm like, wait a minute. Do we need to go through the original thing here? That's not my job. Um, yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't supposed to be me trying to become famous on my own and then deal with that. That's not it, you guys. That's just stupid. That doesn't even make sense. And then throwing out something about hit songs, and I'm like, I would never write him as hit song. If I wrote a hit song, it's gonna be for myself, man. So yeah, he started like throwing out weird stuff. I go, I'm supposed to do that? He hires people to do that. And I go, I have nothing to do with his career. Like, I'm not supposed to do anything with his career. He's supposed to be managing and doing this other thing and creating it himself. Well, little did I know he needs to hire somebody to hit songs for him, too. Okay. I didn't know that, though. I'm clueless. So then I start to find out what a fraud they all are. Like, I didn't know they were fraudulent. I didn't know they were fake. I didn't know they didn't do all these things. I didn't realize that they needed other external people to do those things for them. So I started learning, the framework of this whole thing. And crazy enough. So I started doing my own thing, and then again, we did really really good here at the point when they started blackballing. That's what I said. It was a blackball straight up. The very close to getting something right there. But again, if you read the letter, they basically that's what they were saying, like something about that. And I was like, well, I would never attribute him to that person because he does not do what that person does. If I'm dealing with that person, it would be about 10 times more serious than dealing with you because you don't have a label. You don't own a record company. I don't know where this self-importance is coming from. You know what I mean? Like there was just an additional like conversation with how they were talking. It was weird. So I have the right, like any other male, to come into this industry and be able to work with somebody to give me, um, like you hear these stories, they'll talk about people like Eminem or some bullshit, and then Dr. Dre comes in, he helps him out, and he makes him a star, right? I don't know why that should be viewed at as any differently from men doing that to women, but apparently when men do that to women, we're a bunch of sluts, and that we should expect men to be hitting on us the whole time for that thing. So that's kind of what happened. So, again, double standard. That is um, a roaster. Like, that. He doesn't make money like that. He does not have the same. That's what the crazy thing is. It's like he seems to be more protected than a Dr. Dre, because even Dr. Dre got pulled out for his domestic violence and things like that. This fool, the minute Sky News was asking me something about why I had an issue with so and so, some other person, I was like, oh, because the lawyer in it is the middleman who worked with that lady right there too, and she's the all these people are covering up. There's no way that they didn't know that they were going at kids. It just isn't a thing. They're just liars, if they say otherwise. But I wasn't aware of it, and they're older than me, and they didn't protect me when I came into the industry to let people know that this is what was going on. And I didn't want it to happen to anybody else because it was just like, the perception at the time is it's only this dude. And it wasn't. It wasn't. And the adults knew that at the end of the day, all the adults knew. It's just one of those things. They wanted to keep it a secret from the kids, and they set us up. And I think that she has a responsibility as an adult woman. When you know that, you need to step up. Okay. So, and not do this denial thing today and be like, I knew nothing. That's just a bunch of garbage. This is your people. If I go into your lawyer's office and your lawyer's like, you know what that's about. Anyways, um, you know, Sky News, they don't want to do nothing. They totally just dropped it. They like ran. I don't know. Like I told him, I go, oh, this little thing right here. Oh, that, yeah. Did they do any research to the story? Did they ask me for any proof to the story? Because I have the lawyer's information. Did they do any? No, they didn't do any of that. They didn't do their due diligence. I'm willing and able to be cooperative in any information that they want to look at. Um, my background is clean. We have a very good upbringing as far as, we were raised in a, middle class upper, neighborhood and everything. We had more money than the people I'm dealing with at the time. So this is not in the equation. So also we have a family friend that's really successful in the industry as well. And we're not dealing with him. Like there's a whole other thing with him I've talked about. Um, so that doesn't make any other sense, right? It just isn't what they wanted to try to paint. They couldn't do it. Again, it's the chess pieces that I have. It's the lucky thing. So they go low and they do things like trying to mute, hide, spin evil stories, you know what I mean? Comments, and degrading me to me personally in my face, like sending me private messages. They have, I don't know who they all are now, because today I don't deal with just their team. I deal with anybody that I speak on, anybody, any celebrity that I start pulling. Those people, their team. Sometimes it could be the same teams because they may have the same PR people. So, yeah, they're pretty crappy. That's what they do. It's I'm not paid to post anything like that, so I'm not paid at all for doing that. And that's just to save me from a couple things. I mean, I should be paid for all these things, but I'm not getting paid for those things, so I have no incentive to try to make up a story, to try to dramatize a story, to make up something just to get heard, these type of things. But some of these people, yes, they are getting paid. And you should question that. Like, if you start doing a story targeting a person and you find out they're getting money from doing that, I find that to be very problematic because nobody would do it if they weren't paid, right? Like, why are you gonna do something like that when someone you don't know, and you're gonna start doing things like that just so you get paid? Like one of the girls on here, like I said, they did a very specific. video channel just to target victims of some celebrity guy. And they started posting up their PayPal account too. Send us money. I'm like, you know how bad this is? This is really bad. It's almost like some gang member mafia type crap. And you're going to give money for criminal conduct for these people to make up stuff. And they were making up stuff on these females. And that that's something that needs to be tackled because nobody should be getting paid to do that, and some people just do it just to get paid. Yeah, they'll lie just to protect to the person because kickback. If you just say this for me at this, okay, people do it. It is. I'm so glad that nobody offered me money though, like just to go away. Mm-mm. So I'm free. That's what I'm saying. I'm free. I don't have an NDA on that. I don't have I don't have lawsuits on it. I don't. I've never been threatened with the lawsuit, and that's for, like I said, you're going at billion millionaires, tons of them. If I were saying something that was inaccurate, yes, that would probably happen. Yeah, but we didn't. We didn't. We've been very honest. We've been as honest as can be. There was information that some of those people probably didn't know personally, so you couldn't you couldn't sue me for something that they don't even know. Like they can't prove it otherwise, but the information was alarming, so I felt it needed to be public, and mostly for the safety of other kids that were in this group of people, and they apparently didn't give a shit about their own kids. That was the craziest thing. I go, you don't care that a perpetrator is bragging about something about being around your child to a third party? Hmm. That's not made up. That's actually what tailed off a lot of the things here for me to try to go tell somebody. I couldn't believe they even let him be around their kids like that. I still cannot to this day. I go, I would never let this man near my children. Why would you let your assistant around your children in that way is the question. Like, what the hell are you thinking? Yeah, but we see stories like this all the time. Like there's a lot of cases and it's like, but that's the truth of what happened. And I was like, I don't know why he's bragging about that to me, and I find that to be highly disturbing, and I wouldn't even imagine that he let him do that. Like I was sitting there thinking, like, could he be making that up? Like, but I've never known him to like just make up a story, right? At that time, I didn't know he made up stories, so I was kind of like, but why is he saying it? Like I'm supposed to be like, what he was trying to do, I think, and part of it, besides saying something totally highly alarming, was that I'm so close to their family. You need to understand that. I don't know why he was prancing that topic around. In fact, I think it was during the conversation me asking me, "Do you have a gun in your house?" And then he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Oh, what?" I go, "Why do you have that?" He's like, "'Cause you never know what's gonna happen." I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "No, this dude, this dude, he's not a person that you would even imagine with a gun. He's not. He's like the dude that you would think would hit you with a stick or something." I mean, it's just like, it was really kind of, I was taken back by that because I was kind of like, oh, I'm definitely never going to his house again. But I was trying to figure out like why he had a gun because he said he did all of a sudden. I asked everybody this, so it wasn't like an unusual question. I'm really weirded out with people that have that in their house. I don't know, it's just a thing. So it wasn't like that, but I was just kind of like,
You have a gun? No, it's just a random question. Like, there wasn't any real specific reason why I asked it. It's just like I don't know. It's just maybe because he was talking all negative, but also I don't know. I popped it up and but I'm saying it wasn't an unusual question. I have asked other people this, but it was when I asked it, he said he did, which was not the answer I was expecting. And so then in this conversation during that time period, he brought up that other thing. And then when he brought up that other thing, uh, it was alarming. So I was trying to, I'm telling you guys, this is when I was trying to seek out anybody. I was like, well, who could I write? Who could I get to? Who could I tell? Because, this is so disturbing. Like, you'd never think that they could do it to somebody else. And that was kind of like the first time it was like, oh, besides myself, you're like self-centered in the victim thing. So I was like, oh God, no. Yeah, it went into this thing like that. And then the gun thing was disturbing. Yeah. So I was like, no, no, no. Definitely not a gun guy. Like I don't, and maybe he didn't have it. That's another thing. I never seen it. He just said he did. Maybe he just said he did and he didn't, or he did and he did. That's a part of the story. I have no idea. That's what he did. Who else did I ask that? I asked a lot of people that. I was so anti-gun that I was like, "You have a gun?" I was like, "They're like," yeah. I was like, "Oh, I don't like that." You would have been creeped out, mostly when he's like, "You should just shoot me." I don't think people understand the psychology of this dude. It was like, what the living hell? If somebody keeps saying that and then they admit to that thing right there, it was like the dude's like off kilter. I don't really know. Like, I don't know if he'd actually do that type of thing, but he's really dark and he's really negative, and then he goes and he doubles down after that conversation. He writes a song with the celebrity when he said he never wrote a song before. Can we read the lyrics? They don't even put his name under it. Do you guys see this? This is the craziest thing. He's actually one of the co-writers of the song. The perpetrator. Why is that not on here? Like they're really giving him the middle finger. Oh my God, this is funny. Okay, there's his name. They put it later on the credits. Okay, here's what happened. In 1999, it was when I was living in Lakeview Terrace. I went on a date with the band member. Okay. This was produced June 6, 2000. Okay. During that, what was it, Brutal Planet tour. So this is when I went there with the lawyer, Toby. Okay. Like I said, this stuff is so dark that I don't like going down it. And a lot of these people don't know the truth of this stuff. And it's very. So, in the conversation in 99, when did I go on the date with the guy, right? So we went, it was like during October. And it happened in this period of time. It may have happened pre-tour. It may have happened somewhere in this time before it got produced June. It says this, released on. Okay. So I don't know when they must have did it. They might have did it in early 2000. Um, it doesn't take that long to release the thing, but it would take a little time here. So I'm just trying to get the accuracy of this. So somewhere in 99, we're talking on the phone, and this is when I got that inner information of that thing, and he tells me he has a gun. In this multiple conversation thing, I don't know how many times there was calls. Like I'm like, FBI can go look at the phone. I don't know how many times the calls were going back and forth, but there were some separate calls. So in one of the calls, he goes, he starts talking really dark, like he's gonna like do some horrible things. And then I just ask him very randomly, I'm like, do you do anything else like besides just being an assistant? You know what I mean? Do you write songs? I did. I asked him, like, could you write songs? He goes, no, I don't do anything. And I'm like, you're expecting him to say, like, I have a talent, like I could, I don't know, play piano. I have no idea, something. He's like, nothing. And it's awkward, right? It's like, uh, you're trying to have like general conversation and then it just stalls and it dies. Like this thing where it just goes, boom. I don't do anything. Okay, so can you tell me why then he goes and does this? So he said he didn't write songs. We literally had this conversation. And he said he doesn't do anything and he got all depressed. So what does he write? So he did this in the background. This is the craziest thing. So I don't know how this came about. It is the nuttiest thing ever. So when I seen this, I was like, this is just black. So what does he want to tell us in the song? Don't need a crystal ball for me to see clearly. No astrology or tarot cards. Okay, at this time, yeah, there was a. I don't even know this. Okay, so he's watching the news and he's holding his breath to face the day that scares to death. He's pessimistic. He's so fatalistic. Yes, because on the phone he kept saying like, "Just shoot me," and I'm like, I honestly everybody said these sayings, but with this dude, it was so dark that it was like, and no, I did not say he should. I'd never, and no, I did not promote it. So just letting everybody know, because there's some crazy story out there of some lady doing that. I was like, no, no. I was disturbed and I was kind of like, do I take it seriously? I'm disturbed. Like, I'm just weirded out. Like, you don't know what's real with this guy. So one of the things he kept saying, he's like, how do you know what's real and what's not? How do you know what's a joke and what's not? Like things like that. He would say things like that and leave it like that. And you're like, is he kidding? What's that about? Me? Is that about you? Is that, what? So he's like, I don't believe a thing. I am so nihilistic. I'm pessimistic for what tomorrow brings. So he's so depressed. So he starts dragging me down. Like I was a happy person and I just kind of ran around. I was like, oh, and then he's like this. I can't hear a word you say, so shut up. I like being sick this way, so shut up. Everybody's mind is badly infected. Everybody feeds the parasite. Everything is so dark, so why not accept it? Everything is so far more black than white, okay? I don't believe a thing. I'm pessimistic. I can't hear a word you say. Shut up. That's it. That's his song. Okay, that's it. So this was a moment where he's like, look, I just did a song. You asked me. I just did a song. This is exactly the type of crap that he was doing earlier with the car thing. I go, I got a new car. Did you still have that same car? Yeah, why? I was like, it's not a personal thing, dude. I was just questioning. We had the same car. Next thing you know, guess what? I just got a new car. It's an Eddie Bauer. And I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, so nobody knows this stuff, so I'm sharing it. It's real. It's sick. It is sick. That is actually the real person right there. And as a victim, I was dealing with this. I was like, how do I'm dealing with somebody who's unstable. Like, that's in addition to somebody who's extraordinarily unstable. And in a way, I'm like enabling. I'm not, I shouldn't say enable. Yeah, kind of enabling because I was like, when the date thing was happening, I remember when I was talking to the keyboardist that trying to almost make an excuse for him, like, you just don't understand something, but like an excuse to like protect this perpetrator in some way. But I'm mad at him. Like, there's a whole thing with it, and so there's this level of like enabling this sick person. Like, I'm talking to him. I'm still dealing with them. I'm still like having conversation with them, and the people that came out after this were like very groupy, detached, doesn't know anything about him. They may have had sex, they may have done all these things, but they don't know this dude. Not like I do. This is the real character, the deeper part of that character. That's not the person that's like, hey, you want to sign, signed autograph from so and so from this. Hey guys, how are you guys doing, fans? Here's some backstage passes. Here's it. That's what you know. Okay, we're gonna go do this thing and whatever, but whatever. This is the deeper character, the flawed character inside that person. And that's what he did. And I go, you know how psychotic this is? Are you telling me to shut up? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like you're reading it. It's like, no, this is to everybody. Like the so 3 years before this, right here, he was thinking of quitting working for this person that released this song. And I asked why. Oh, you just don't no, can't, just, no, can't get into this. Duh. And I'm like, I'm dying to know what the hell's going on here, but I don't want to be left alone with this guy. Like, you don't want to be left alone with this guy. I don't care, like, what you tell this dude, trying to be friend with them. He's manipulating. You're falling into the trap, everything. Oh, this guy's very, very, thing about this. So he's doing things like this, right? Okay. But he wouldn't tell me why they got into a tiff to where he wants to quit. He doesn't want to work with them anymore. But he's his biggest fan. Because he saves all his stuff, right? He has all his stuff. Everything. Everything he ever used, everything he wore, his lipstick, his underwear, his toilet paper, his everything. And he lived his life like trying to, he, and it might be an excuse to you to conversate with the fans because he has all this stuff. So it's kind of like a way that he could communicate with other humans. But he was not social. Like when I'm telling you, my job is a social job at the time. I had a social job. So I'm chronically trying to, do small talk with people I never met. I'm like, how are you doing? Where are you from? What do you do for a living? Ah, blah, blah, right? This dude, when I throw something out at him, he'd just be like, I don't have any talent. And I'm sitting here like, I don't even know how to answer to this. It's so dead. It doesn't lead you. So, oh, you don't do it. Oh, you don't do anything. Okay, let me talk about something else. No, and it just leads to this thing where he's all depressed. He was like straight up depressed. I don't do anything. I don't have any talent. And I'm thinking in my mind, is he effing with me? It leaves you in this place of like on eggshell, right? Like you don't know what it means. Like, are you joking? Are you being serious? Are you being this? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? What does that mean? No. And then it gets dark, and it does get dark, and then that's what he wrote about. And he never wrote a song. He said he doesn't write. And all of a sudden he did it, like after I asked him. So I'm assuming he went to the boss and, I'd really like to write a song. I don't know how the hell this came about, but I'm telling you the truth. He never wrote a song before, and it was pre this song being done, and he was very depressed about it, and he said he had no talent. Then he does this. And what's so crazy about this, because this is in 2000, we're still talking. He's mad right now. In 2000, he'd be mad at me. Okay? He's mad because I went on dates with that dude. And I'm dealing with the lawyer. He's really pissed. Okay, so they release this. They're mad at me. I'm still talking to them, but he's mad at me. And then he was supposed to come into my work around this time too. It's really weird. Okay, so then he sees me with my ex-boyfriend. He gets mad, tries to, do this bullshit. Okay, so then when he put that public statement out, he said that he would kick himself if I had a hit song. But can we reverse this right now? Was this a hit song? No. Did it even make the radio? No. No. Nothing. Nothing. So I don't understand this. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot in the story that is just like, what? You feel so bad about yourself because you suck at writing a song. You wrote this with your boss. Your boss sucks at writing a song because this song just generally sucks. Who got on this song? Let's talk about it. Bob. Bob is part of their team over here producing crap. Bob is always part of shit. Okay, I don't know Bob, okay? I know Bob is part of this. I don't need to work with Bob. So Bob does all this stuff. But who's the other person? His boss. Well, his boss can't write a hit song either because this song didn't go anywhere. It went in the dumpster. And I'm like, these are the two people that are supposed to be in control of me, and you can't do it. They didn't ask me to do it. I'm just saying that's who's supposed to be in charge of me. They're not capable. They have to hire people. They need Bob. They need Bob, and Bob couldn't even do it on this. They need professionals. So when you pay attention to further things that did make the radio or like MTV videos or anything like that, so most of the times there's another party. There's another person in the room that is actually helping them do the hit song, such as what happened with, I think it was Bed of Nails, I think. Okay, that's a very famous hit songwriter. She does Cher's music. She did Lady Gaga. She did a bunch of people's songs. She jumped on that, and that song's not even a great song either. But it was enough to make it to TV, to, a video, to a chart. It didn't last long. That's somebody else. This is offensive. Like, this whole thing, it's like a joke. It's like a setup. It's a joke. Nobody could do it. But that's the lure and trap. There is a setup at the beginning of this that they were supposed to do all this stuff. That's just the point of the matter. So I'm going to be done with that. If you didn't know the story, there's a lot of deep shit in the story. It's pretty dark. It's gross. It's weird. It's a lot of wacky things.